Welcome to the Parody, where we tally up the victims in our favorite media. I'm Chelsea Rose, and today we return to the world of Mansion Battle with Episode 5, released in 2024. Episode 5 is the sharpest veer into what I basically want to do with the series now. It defines the lore of this universe, and develops the characters even more. Though I will admit, that's not really saying much. Much like Episode 4, this episode suffered an extreme hiatus, although it didn't last as long as the last one. This one only took 14 months and was released on my birthday. That also kinda has to do with the version that there was of previous version to this episode that didn't materialize. The challenge to the episode was different, and oh yeah, there was also way more voice acting, as I've previously said many times before. Snap out of it, you're being petty.
I actually want to see you eliminated. I want you out of this game, and I will do anything to get that.
You're a monster.
Instead, this episode eschews voice acting almost entirely, and somehow ended up being about 10 minutes longer than that version of the episode would have been. And like I said, the challenge is drastically different. Instead of being a cooking challenge like the original version of the episode, it's instead to have each and every member of your team survive within Mount Smile for as long as possible. More importantly, we get stuff relating to the panel again, even though it's only been about 2 episodes. But whatever, that's gonna factor huge later on in the series. The episode also steers Mansion Battle into a more mature direction. Basically, what I'm saying is it's more violent and more profane. Also, this is the longest episode in this series by far. It's 27 minutes long, longer than the other 4 episodes combined, which were only 24 minutes. That means there's way more to talk about this time around, but quite frankly, I just like talking about my own show. Will a constant stream of smiles manage to keep our count low? Let's find out and get to the kills. The episode begins with a warning, the first kind of such in the series. Sarah returns to the makeout field where it seems as if Violet and Emily aren't there anymore. Colin thinks it's a little weird that he hasn't been caught up for elimination yet, even though he's on the other team. It's explained to both her and Colin that he was switched over to many safes and sides by few people last episode. But also wait, who's the few people in question? Well, it's these two, the assistants Madeline Redding and Alicia Terrison. And if Alicia's last name sounds familiar, it's because she's Violet's sister! Alicia thinks it's cool they swung Sticky boneless, even though Alexi disagrees. Partially because, well, did you even watch that episode and get it in full? Good job, Tim. You only got someone that was half awake during your show. After that opening scene, we get back to where the original script began. Violet and Rain finally confront Michael after his, statement last episode. Because, like, dude, you were seriously messed up, Michael. Also, this line from Rain is changed from what it was in the original, where he dropped an F-bomb. I also expanded on what it was originally by making it more wordy. After telling Rain and Violet that he really doesn't care about this, Rain decides to give up. However, that prick's being weird about her girlfriend, so Violet decides to have a more physical confrontation to him. She lays into him and tells him truthfully that that's not how he's gonna win, and people are gonna catch on eventually. Well, Violet, after you let go of him, he's technically right. People did catch on. In a great moment of realization, she sees that the people there don't necessarily agree with her. I've checked our time codes and we're 3 minutes into the episode. We're at the challenge at this point last episode. We're not even at the elimination at this point this episode. What gives? Even Emily and Jason are confused when the elimination is. However, they get interrupted by Eric spreading something around. Ha, 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 ha. Get I'm laughing like that because he's making people hear the rumors. It's about Violet and how he and a few other people saw her borderline inflicting violence on him? I mean, I put this guy on the count in episode 4 before Michael could say all of that, so it makes sense that he didn't exactly hear the full story. However, Jason thinks that's enough evidence to get Violet off the team. But of course, you two just have to forget that you're sitting next to Violet's girlfriend. Timmy overheard something about elimination, so we can finally get to that. After a waffle-gaffling talk, it's time to reveal the votes. Yep, no one voted in episode 4. That means no one's getting eliminated, but Reigns is confused why they're on Michael's side all of a sudden. With a Project Diva reference, they decided to do the elimination after the challenge. Oh, and what is this? Another new intro? Great, let's see. It shows you all the characters in really quick bursts, and if that's not enough, we even have team things at the end. As for music, I used Electric Angel, although it's the Ren and Len version. I'm kind of pissed that version of the song isn't in Project Diva at all, but hey, the original version is also fine. And it even ends with a title card! The challenge today involves them traveling to the biggest mystery of her time, Mount Smile. And if they want to win, they have to survive by whatever means necessary. And whichever team has a complete loss of life from these disgusting things on the side, they'll be up for elimination. The travel to the mountain is a short but fun sequence. It's got stars in Tammy's eyes and a few bus shots of it rolling around. After walking on foot for a bit, they finally get to Mount Smile itself. And with this, now the teams have to split up. The first team we get a peek at is the Sack, and Michael tells them all about the mountain. After originally being used in the 80s by humans for curing the virus, it got transferred over to objects for the next 30 years. They stayed until 2019, until one escape containment led to 63 people dying. However, Equilibrium vs. the World hasn't come out yet, so I won't be putting him on the count. A small problem about him leading all of this is because he wanted something out of Emily. However, now that everyone's on his side, they just forget about that. Things almost get worse for Fords until Michael's out of gun. He just saw Violet. Now, we're finally at our first kill, but we're 7 minutes in here. We just started the challenge. So people don't get suspicious, Michael makes up a story that Emily immediately sees through. She knows they harbor something against her, but she's too emotional for all of that. Rain tells Michael that this is even more serious. He just killed a person that was tied to Emily. Michael reasons that it would have been a murder if he shot more at her, but I don't know how that exactly works. Even if that was true, however, Rain just thinks Michael's trying to kill for some cheap callbacks. Note, the callbacks part of the line is specifically a reference to the Ice Nine Kills song Welcome to Horrorwood. Then we all of a sudden cut over to the panel of life where a new cactus guy comes in and sees their dead bodies. However, he remembers that the force field is off somehow, so he presses it on and they come back to life. Shortly thereafter, they both figure out that it's 2024 and they have about 30 months of catching up to do. He's already got everything figured out since he's starting it all off with a body bag that runs a sound equipment store in Objectville. She's escaped twice before with someone named Emily. Pretty sure the only reason that guy threw an ammo is just for some foreshadowing. Kyle then rips open the body bag to reveal someone. They don't explicitly mention who it is right now, but I'm just gonna say it's Nancy, who was eliminated last episode. Nancy tries to stop this guy named Kyle from shooting her by throwing out a line from episode 4. She also throws out a line about Tammy being her girlfriend. It seems out of nowhere, but this was actually confirmed in Breakout 5 in the Arizonia Pant Shedder and the Objectville Mind Boggler. This frame in the new intro also shows that there's something new brewing between them. In any case, it can't prevent her from being somewhat disturbingly shot by Kyle. However, if they wanted to get away from this, Chris shouldn't be alive right now. We return to the mountain to see many shapes and sizes have Jane as their leader. Or no, screw that idea. Although she said nobody said it, she just wanted to step up. It's revealed that Allie kisses objects, and shortly into a scene, it's also revealed that Allie is dead. In the background of this scene, knives have been thrown, and it's been revealed that they're all from Colin. We get a break from that when Alexi says that she has a tape from 1994 in there, and that it's come from one of the Q researchers. On the tape, it says that it's December 21st, 1994, and one of the Smilers has breached containment.
It isn't supposed to happen, but I'm sure there will be no long-term effects. Maybe one infection, but for anything else...
What? Let me read my little list here. Make characters speak. Did that sugar cube just speak? And for more than 2 seconds? What? I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Oh, it's stuck to my last count. Is that not a Baldi's Basics song? Yeah, that's right. There's actually voice lines this episode too, and we're way longer than last time. And plus, that sugar cube doesn't sound like me. That means I got someone else to do the work. I got Magic Score Animates to do the lines, who we've previously seen on the Parody in Fear. Before the sugar cube can set off from the tape, a Rainbow Knife guy appears. However, Rainbow Knife here is only interested in infecting the VHS tape Q researcher. Rainbow Knight, voiced by me, says that they shouldn't do these tapes in secluded spaces because they're gonna get infected. And sure enough, due to the kill graphics on screen, they've been infected, which means we can add them onto the count. And that's basically where the tape ends. And then we get a thumbnail shot. While Michael's strategizing about how his team can win, Emily tells Rain that she probably started her relationship with Violet a little too early. If we look at episode release dates, this conversation really doesn't make any sense, as episode 2 came out in December 2021, while episode 4 came out in June 2023. Hell, even Rain says that it's been 3 years ever since they first knew each other. But however, it's kind of a meta conversation when you realize that this is only taking into account episode runtimes and episode numbers. Her first showing of affection towards Violet was about 2 minutes into episode 2. Violet and Emily then proceeded to get together 9 minutes into episode 4. You see where the problem is? It only took them 2 episodes and 17 minutes worth of in-show time for them to get together. It isn't really a good sign if one episode can make them be together longer than they tried getting together. Hey Emily, if it makes you feel better, at least it wasn't directly out of left field. He tells her that if she still thinks that's too small of a gap, try asking her about the stuff she likes. Yeah, that line was only a reason for me to name drop me during this episode. Rain, are you trying to get my ass suit over there? That right there isn't really the only reference to Vocaloid in this episode. Earlier in the episode, you can see Kagami and Rin on the boat, and of course, like I said, the text colors in that earlier scene during the elimination are very much reminiscent of no accuracies in the Project Diva games. Also, the white star in the middle of a black void, which being Temi's eye, is a reference to the Project Diva music video for Rio's Black Rock Shooter. Nope, that song is not supposed to be confused with the anime of the same name. Both the anime and the song were based on an earlier character, which, you guessed it, had the exact same name, which came up before both the song and the anime. Their conversation ends shortly thereafter, and the background blurs? That was done to cover up Laura's original death, because she was originally supposed to die right here. However, later on I accidentally put her in the episode, so I just slapped the blur over it. Back at the panel, Kyle tells them that they have to resume their killing business. In fact, they have to get even better since both Boneless and Baller don't have PR anymore. If they want to get away with all their crimes, they gotta lock in on who started exposing them in the first place. Kyle's figured out that they're the only people on Mount Smile, which means they may have rented the entire mountain. That means if they want some vengeance, they're gonna have to make a move. Another mystery afoot is the upstairs vent room, but Colin realizes it's where those people died pretty quickly. Before he can explain it entirely, they get shot at. It pans over to reveal that it was from the sack. Michael's brought up himself, Eric, and Rain for whatever reason, and they're gonna have an ultimate showdown. Of ultimate object, guys. Michael gets cocky for a little bit until someone interrupts both of them. It's Alexi, and she's here to lay into Michael. She even helps Michael get to the point by sniping one of his teammates. To be fair, after Violet's stuff, she was kinda being a dick. She's doing this because eventually Michael's teammates are gonna catch on to his bullshit. Michael spreads the good word of misinformation, and Alexi won't reveal her secrets. With this and a nice little bit of animation, Michael rushes towards them with a spear. Me and Jan are suspicious about this, because he's not gonna kill them. Oh, he just killed them. This stuff has a really nice visual to it, and it comes really sudden since you're not expecting both of them to die. Plus, Alexi, you know what you have to do. Below all this, Emily's been waiting for Rain to come back down. However, all she gets in response is a solid-state camera flash. Oh yeah, and Rain using his motion blur to fall down. She thinks he's okay after that, but it appears that he's smiling? Well, I mean, he could just be... I don't know. I don't think he's infected. However, that line, never mind. He's totally infected. It's taken 5 episodes, but we're at Rain's first death of the entire series. She runs through Hope's Peak Academy and back into the spawn area, disproving Laura's theory. She gives them the news that Rain's been infected, but truthfully, no one there gives a shit. Colin's running down the main core of the vents room in order to tell Iris something. He tells her that it was a 2-2 situation with one person being infected. Iris still wants them to make sure, and that leads into a really heated argument. However, the argument initially could have gotten even more heated. Up until about a day or two before the episode came out, Colin was originally supposed to drop a censored F-bomb in the scene. They're only stopped when Winter tells him to stop fighting! With his non-existent reasoning, they comply. Back at Spawn, Laura discovers that Emily wasn't lying about it and that Michael should get his hands off of her. Traven's decided that he has had enough of all this nothingness and goes out to deal with Rain. Oh, wait, why are you blaming it on him? Traven calls out for him, and before long he appears. Traven comes up with a flimsy excuse as to why he's out there, but Rain sees through it immediately. As he starts infecting Traven, the camera goes back into Spawn. Michael thinks this version of Rain is better, and Emily has to tell him why that's not really the case, because, of course, she does. Just because he hates them doesn't mean he should be in an irreversible state, but Michael says that they could lose that way. However, Rain can't control himself under the virus's influence. Michael could, but he wasn't ever infected, so he just did all that. Traven interrupts him by running by really fast, and he's somehow not infected. Even though he went the full cycle of 15 seconds, I have an explanation. What Traven just got was a mouth-to-body transmission of the virus. That usually takes a bit longer to get into action. Meanwhile, the usual transmission method of hands over face takes about 15 seconds. So, there, that's what happened. That means Michael and Traven's longer assumption is correct, which means he's not entirely immune. The infection kicks in, which means I can add Traven onto the count. And with that, inter-team chaos occurs again. Leah runs away from the scene first and then just stops. Traven just tackles him off screen, and since we never see him again after this point, I'm also gonna add him to the list. Emily's unsure what to do during this situation before someone takes her outside. It's revealed to be that son of a bitch, Michael. Dude, don't give her that face. These are the final two members of the SAC that we're going to be following throughout the remainder of the challenge, which means everyone else must have died. However, unlike the situation in episode 4, it's actually pretty clear how each and every one of them died this episode. That would mean we'd have to count the 3 remaining people in for Jason, Laura, and Marcus, who all got infected off screen. Over at the other side of the mountain, Piper can hear the other team and ask Simon to go over there and investigate. He takes the opportunity, unaware that he's going to be dealing with the exact same shit as last episode. Michael reasons that if the other teammates are already dead or infected, no one's going to notice if they, get down to business. You see, this is because he's been without any sort of love his entire life. I can tell. He says that she doesn't really need violence, since she's just bugging out the team for her relationship. After calling back to that moment again, Michael says that she couldn't register that because she was too busy killing everyone. While Michael's distracted, Simon thinks he can kill him again, so he does so with Fortnite sound effects. Fortnite AR. Michael thinks Simon's interrupted their so-called precious moment. Meanwhile, he's done so before on countless occasions. Michael's not gonna take what Simon said like a man, so he shoots him with his gun he's had the entire episode. Hopefully you can make your K to D 2-1 in the future, Simon. Wait, if Michael's had that gun the entire episode, couldn't he have just stopped the infections going on earlier? He could have shot Traven and Rain and it would have all been fine. Whatever, thanks to Simon, Emily has a realization about what she should do. She decides to go along with his plan. Are you fucking serious right now? First, however, she wants to see his gun for something. She twirls around the gun in her hand and she uses it to shoot him. Oh, so that was her strategy. Alright, pretty smart. With her being the last member standing, she can finally end the challenge for everyone. We don't necessarily see it, but since we hear a camera sound and the infection sound alongside it, I'm gonna say Emily dies by infecting herself to end off the challenge. Timmy tells everyone to head back over to the bus with more voice acting. After everyone on the SAC got back to normality and casted their votes, it's time for the elimination. A majority of the team gets 0 votes, which includes Emily, Rain, and Eric. Predictably, our final 2 end up being Violet and Michael. And with 7 votes, the 20th place elimination battle is... Wait, Violet? She immediately has the obvious reaction she's gonna have, because, that should not have happened. Emily's sad about it too, but hey, look at this. She comes up with more love for her than ever. That's nice. Even nicer since she plans to win for both of them. That is also nice. Guards that orange lace right here. Lucky. Too bad Michael's there with his smug-ass face. With that, he says his work here is done and just leaves. Yeah, no joke. He just goes on the bus and quits the show right here. Hell, Ray can't even believe it. So this should mean Michael places 19th overall, right? I mean, double eliminations are possible. Emily still thinks it is, but Terry tells her that's not the case, since she's not gonna do a double elimination in episode 5. This means that Violet's still gonna be in the game and that Michael actually plays 20th. That revelation fills both of them up with joy. However, not everybody is safe since one member of many shapes and sizes will be eliminated next episode. And yeah, that's where our episode ends. In the post-credits scene, Emily talks about having a different name to Violet, like Celeste or something. That line is actually a reference to the original plan I had for episode 5. In that draft, the episode was supposed to end with her saying that's her name now. However, that got changed by the time we got to this version of the episode. Also, by the way, that change was made in November of 2023. Not like that has any significance or whatever. It's a nice little moment of them hanging out, just happy to be in each other's company. And finally in the panel, someone's at the door, but who is it? Surprise, it's Michael, and the episode ends on that cliffhanger. There's a whole lot of stuff I want to do with this cliffhanger, but we're gonna have to reserve that conversation for our next episode. And whenever that comes out. In any case, let's get to the numbers. 16 people died in Mansion Battle Episode 5. We had 8 men, 6 women, and 2 victims of other genders as our victims, giving us a pretty damn near even pie chart. Out of the people who killed each other, Michael had by far the most this time with 5. Meanwhile, last episode's champion, Emily, only had 2. Other characters were also responsible for 2 deaths, while Rain only had 1, along with 2 other contestants. Also, in terms of the series overall, this one has the second most, even though that's by far not, like, anything impressive considering episode 3. With a running time of 27 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 1.69 minutes. I'll give Amethyst Flamethrower to Alexi and James, because I like the visuals of that one the most out of all of them. Broken Pistol will go to Laura, Jason, and Marcus, because I don't think I need to explain. And that's it. Mansion Battle Episode 5 was released in 2024, both on my birthday and the 3-year anniversary of Mansion Battle, or at least this iteration as a whole. Next episode of Mansion Battle, Episode 6, will be out sometime. Definitely sooner than these last 2, and it'll have some events. Up next on the parody is, you know, what I talked about earlier, but until then, wait, sure, I'm recording inside so I can't say that. And it's been the parody. Thanks a lot for watching this parody. This is definitely my longest Mansion Battle parody, although that's not saying anything since this is the longest episode of the series by far. I really got nothing else to say since I already said in that overextended outro, so thanks for watching.